Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. How are you today? Today is Thursday, February 1st. And I'm popping in just to show you guys a really neat cake topper for Valentine's Day that you can use for your cupcakes. Let me just get my gloves on here quick. Even though I'm doing a tutorial, I've got so used to wearing gloves, I wear them all the time. So let me show you. This is what we're going to be making. And all you need is some fondant and a round cutter. Any shape, any size that you'd like. Hello, hi you guys. And you can make these too. And you can make them, guys, in different heights. You can make them taller. You can thin them out more. You can even... in the red here, you can even go and outline or trace the very tips with some edible gold. Hi, Nadira. How are you, darling? So I'm going to get started and show you how easy these are to make, you guys. So I have a couple that I cut out yesterday, and they're a little bit firm. Hi. Hi, Nadia. How are you? Thank you for being here. I'm going to point you down, and then we're going to get started. And if I miss comments, guys, I'll always go back and try and answer them, okay? So if you have any bakers or sweets makers out there that may want to check out this tutorial, feel free to give it a share, okay? All right, I'm going to point you down. All right, so hopefully you can see, okay? So there we go. Just give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can see the table okay, or if I should move you in closer. I see one thumbs up. It just takes it a minute sometimes. Hi, Dottie. Hi, Daisy. Thank you for being here. Can you see the workstation okay? And then I'll get started. Great. That's super. All right, so I'm using the white and the red fondant. You guys can use any fondant you want to use. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the thumbs up. I'm not going to go into too much detail about fondant brands or anything or recipes, guys. Hi, Danyang. How are you? And so just use what you have on hand or your favorite brand. You could even use molding chocolate or that would, be really cool if you wanted to use that. And again, I'm looking down and I peek up to look. Hi, Tamara. How are you? Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. I know it's in the afternoon here on Thursday and a lot of people are at work, but I thought I'd just pop on real quick and show you how to make this because it's super easy, and once you get started you can really bang these out. So, and it's the first, so you're going to want to maybe get some really neat images of some cool products for your clients or for your friends and your family or your special someone, and make them something sweet. And you don't have to, guys, just stick to cupcakes if you don't want to for this little guy. You could even make this a topper for a cake. So, be really pretty for Valentine's Day. I have a little too much fondant here. I'm just going to trim some of this off. Just because I have too much and I don't need that much fondant. Just going to move some of the white over here. And I will look up from time to time, guys, to check messages. Yes, my table or my mat moves around a little bit. And just have to ignore that. So I'm just going to get this rolled out. Doesn't have to be super thin because we're going to be thinning an edge anyway with the balling tool. So I'm just going to trim this down. And this is kind of how I did it. I'm just going to go ahead and use one. I'm using my mat, guys. So I'm just going to follow this line on the mat, which is a little crooked. Hang on one sec. And I'm going to use 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use 3 inches here. I'll just use 3 inches. And I'll trim this up a little bit. So you want a square. You want to kind of have them all as close as possible in size. And then I'm going to do a 1/2 inch, but I'm going to just first cut at the 1 inch mark. So I need to get my rectangle shape here right at the right amount, the right size. And then I'm going to cut 1 inch squares. And this is very simple to do, guys. And if you're just beginning, this is perfect too, because you'll have these really beautiful, elegant cupcakes or cakes, and you'll really come off looking like a pro. So now I'm cutting the 1 inch in half, you know, as good as I can. They don't have to be perfect. And then now we have a whole bunch of 1/2 inch pieces. And then I'm going to do the same with the red. Hello, hello. Hi, Michelle. Let's see. Bring them on camera. Are we not on camera? You have to repeat that tomorrow, honey. Bring them on camera. What is the heart base made of? It's made of fondant. So should I bring the camera more this way, guys? Is that better? I'm not really sure what you're asking me here. And I'll look up in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and do the red. The base is made just with some fondant, guys. I did it yesterday and let it sit overnight. You guys know gum paste really isn't edible, so I'd recommend using chocolate or fondant and just let it set up. You know, that way when you pass out your cupcakes, they can eat the whole thing if they want to. And you can flavor your fondant too. You could, you know, make it like a hot cinnamon flavor or something for Valentine's Day. I'll get everything in order here in a second. I just want to get going on getting my lines done here. So I'm going to do this one the same size. And if you did have a lot going on, a large order, you of course would want more strips. So this part's a little bit time consuming, but it's kind of fun. Once you get into the swing of it, you can really get a lot of these done quickly. Also, another tip too is you don't have to make your strips this small. You can make them longer if you want. And now I'm going to cut each 1 inch in half. So now I have somewhere around 1/2 inch. And again, they don't have to be perfect. You can also do something similar using wafer paper too. I just thought of that now. All right, so once you have your strips done, hello, hello, no other way. Hang on 1 second, Dottie, I missed your message. She's saying no other way. Bring them on camera. Not sure. Do you mean bring this up like that? The cake topper? Are we not seeing, guys? Is that the problem? I just want to make sure you're seeing what I'm doing here. On my end, guys, it looks like you can see everything here from what I can see. So you'll have to let me know. Thumbs up if you can see, thumbs down if you can't see. And if you can't see, I don't know why you can't see. So I'm going to just move over to step 2. And I have just a foam pad right here, guys, with a piece of Viva paper. Actually, this isn't a Viva paper towel. These are these heavy-duty paper towels that are actually in the automotive section. They're awesome. You can use them over and over and over. So I'm just going to move some of these fondant strips out of the way for a minute so you can watch me frill the edges. Are we good? Okay, we got some thumbs up there. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring this guy down here so it's still kind of in view. And then I'll show you a tip that I did that made this a lot easier. Is I used the same cutter and I just set this right around and got it right back in to the cutter. Just like that. I want it to sit right back in. And I might have to do that right here on the mat. Just like that. So now it's sitting on the bottom because I need the sides to help hold up the fondant as we're building it. So that's a neat little tip. You don't have to do it this way. You can start building right on here, but the fondant might kind of bend one way or the other. So a neat trick to avoid that is just to leave your cookie cutter on. And I just spilled water all over the place. Okay, so let me grab a brush. I'm going to grab my brush here, and I'm just going to dab the fondant. I'm going to do one side first. I'm just going to brush on some water. You can use gum glue, or And you guys can do any pattern you want too. You could go all the way around in red and do the center white. You can do pinks. There's so many different variations that you could do. You could also do little tiny roses even. You don't have to do ruffles. So, but it's really, really cool to alternate the colors. It just looks really festive for Valentine's Day. So I've got this damped and I'm just going to set it over here on my board. Let me grab a smaller board. Grab a smaller board over here. We'll put him on. There we go. And thanks for being here, guys. It means a lot. It really does. So this guy, I did red on the left side. So I'm going to switch this one up. I'm going to do white on the left side. So I'm going to just grab my balling tool. And it's the same way you would be making ruffles. You just want to take one end and frill it. I want to smooth that right out. And I am on a sponge. You know, you can put some pressure on that, and it's going to want to bend on you. You just keep smoothing out one edge. Just like that. And my shop's super cold too, so let me turn my heater back on. Because it's cold in here. I mean, it's not freezing, but it's under 40 degrees. So it's kind of cold. So I really am just putting good pressure on the ends, and I'm not worried. I mean, it's very, your kids could help you do this. It's very easy. So you want to get an end frilled and thinned. The thinner you make it, the more it'll look like tissue paper. So that's entirely up to you guys how you wanted to do that. So I have a pretty thin edge, and then the bottom's a little bit thicker. So what I'm going to do now, so when you straighten it out, it kind of curls, is now you're just going to want to put it in any pattern. It kind of resembles like a chantilly lace or something like that. So you could do different shapes. And I'm going to bring over my fondant heart here, and I'm just going to get started. And you know, you can put these on any way that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and do these in a different pattern than I did the last one, just to see something different. And I really like the idea of doing, like, having it kind of brush the tips with a little bit of gold even, or even adding some type of a bow to it would really make it look neat. So this is the most time-consuming part. That's why I said you could make these as long as you wanted and then cut them afterwards. Totally up to you guys, whatever works best for you. And I'm working on a fairly soft foam mat. So the firmer your mat, the better your ruffles are going to look, because you'll be able to thin them better. So I'm working a little extra hard here. And my fondant's not super warm either. But I wanted to kind of just give you a general idea because, you know, it looks really cool. I thought it was really pretty yesterday. I was playing around thinking, I need to come up with a Valentine's topper. I'm going to bring him back. So I think what I'm going to do is just continue following this line here and just see if it makes a difference. It may or may not. So I'm just going to tuck him right in there. And but this is what I meant by leaving your cookie cutter on the around your fondant base, because it's helping keep the fondant stable for you. So it's just, and it really only has to be there until you're completely done and the fondant sets up a little tiny bit, and after that you're good to go. I'll put a little sugar down on my paper towel here. And I could have thinned out the fondant a little bit more. It's a little thick, but for demonstration purposes, I think it's perfect. It's good. It gives you an idea. And I am, you know, giving this a good amount of pressure also because I am working on a soft mat. I don't have a hard or firm mat that I could thin on. So I'm just flipping it over here and there. It would also look neat too if you zebra striped or made different shades or colors even. Even black and white would look cool. I guess there's no end to possibility here. Just wondering if that pink's going to show up. I don't want that in this, on this side. So you guys, literally, you can do it any way. Sorry, I'm off camera. My apologies, guys. You can do straight lines, you can do rosettes, any way you wanted to do it. I just thought this looked really cool. Plus, it's super easy. There's really no... you don't have to think too much. Do you know what I mean? You can turn your music on and just have fun. And the results are really pretty. If you haven't done this before, try it. It's fun. So, really give you that wow factor to something like a cupcake or a cake. So I have a couple other really cool Valentine's toppers that I'm working on. I don't want to show you right now, but I will show you probably in the next day or two. So I'm just thinning this guy out. I'm going to try and make this one a little bit longer. I'm going to stretch it right out. And I'm just using Wilton fondant, guys. I'm not using anything fancy. This one I made a little bit longer, and I thinned it out even more. And again, you only do one side, so this one actually looks really cool. It's really thin, like a ribbon. So let me bring this guy back up. So I'm just going to start small and just do little. I'm going to tuck him right in here. Get my tool here. I'm going to use the fine end. And you can even make these and set them aside in sections and then apply them a little at a time. I did that yesterday too. I just made a couple small ones, I set them aside and let them dry, and it worked really well. So you don't have to like do one and then immediately put it on. You can get a whole bunch of these done and then wet your fondant base and then adhere them, as long as they're not too dry. If they're too dry, then you might get some breakage, or they might crack on you, or you might not be able to get them to fit. So just a heads up on that. So I'm stretching this one again. Let's try and make them a little bit longer. I seen this pattern on a website for paper, for crafts, for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cute. I mean, those would make some really cute cupcake toppers. So I came out yesterday and started fiddling around with it, and I was like, that is adorable. Now this guy's a little bit taller, if you notice the width. So keep that in mind. I mean, if you want your cupcake topper to be, you know, somewhat flat and symmetrical. Hi Cecilia, hi. Do you moisten your cakes with any kind of liquid? For this one, Cecilia, yes. We did moisten the fondant first. If you can see, maybe the light's not super good. I've just got half of it moistened with just water, but you can use gum glue or water. Vodka dries pretty quick, so I guess you could even use some light corn syrup too. That might take a little while to dry. It depends on how quick you would need your cupcake toppers finished. So, but this is a neat little project if you have kids that like to bake, you know, and they wanted to make something special, and it's a really, really pretty pattern. if you wanted to offer this to your clients. I think this one would look cool if I went all the way around and then just put some red in the middle. You know, I was going to do the opposite of this one here. I was just going to go white then red, but I think I'm going to try and just put a little red in the center and then go white all the way around. I just wanted to try something different, you know. I will look up from time to time and check messages, guys, so if I miss your comments, please don't feel bad. I will go back and read them. But as my camera's recording facing down, I don't easily see the comments, so. But I will read it later. I promise I will. So I'm going to stretch this guy out a little bit more. I'm really just pulling him. And again, like I mentioned, I'm using a really thick, soft pad. If you had a firmer pad that wasn't as thick, your strips will thin out a lot quicker and a lot easier. So I just don't have one, so I'm kind of doing it the hard way. So let me put a little water on the other side, because I only did one side. So I'm going to go ahead and add water on here, Cecile. And I'm just dabbing some on with a brush. Might as well just do the whole thing. It'll get nice and sticky by the time I get done. I'll just go ahead and do each one. And you can tap down on your fondant ribbons just to make sure they're attached. So, thank you, Lourdes. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this guy. And I think I'm going to just do red in the middle of this one. I think it'll look really cool. So I like to have something pointy just so I can really get those curls tucked up in, right up against that cookie cutter. And then I just kind of touch it with my finger to make sure it's adhering to that fondant heart at the base. I'm going to do a couple more white ones, and then I'm going to do some red ones. So let me just do a couple here quick. Let's see if Wendy can make a tutorial that isn't an hour long. Tend to go a little too far on my tutorials, and they're like, it's taking forever. I say simple, fast tutorial, and it's like 2 hours long. Like, okay, that was not simple and that was not fast. But this one, guys, really anyone can do this. If you're a beginner, or if you know cake designers that are just starting out and you wanted to share this out, certainly go ahead and do that. That would be wonderful. And you know, even for moms that want to make something, or even fiancés or couples, they want to make something nice for Valentine's Day, they can just go to Walmart, get the stuff to make cupcakes, and they can make these also. There's nothing fancy involved. And if you don't have one of these tools, at Walmart you can get one of these. And you can just use the end of one of these to thin the fondant strips also. You don't have to have a ball tool, or you can set this strip right down on your surface and you literally can just press it like this and get the same effect. It's a little hard on the fingers, but you can do it if you don't have the right tools. Or you can use your pin and thin it out this way. So it still gives you a really good thin. So, hola, hola. So I want to make sure everybody knows that, hey, just because I have stuff, you might not have it, doesn't mean you can't make these. So you could even maybe put a letter or initial or something on the inside of your heart, however you guys wanted to design your own. But if you make something like this, share it on our wall, because we'd love to see it. I love watching you guys, you know, make something new and share it with me. If you didn't want to share it with the whole wall, you can just private message me and I'll I'll look at it and tell you how awesome it is. So I'm going to do this again with the pin here because that works pretty good. Just take your pin and just kind of get half of it. Hopefully I was on camera for that. And that works pretty quick. And I like that these are all fondant because you can eat them. So, and as long as you don't put too much moisture in there, you'll be fine. You know, sometimes fondant gets a little bit gummy. But just don't oversaturate your base with liquid. And if you do, you might need to wait a little bit before you lift off your cookie cutter off of it, just to be sure that that liquid has dried enough. I did a carousel cake a couple years ago, and the bottom tier I think was a 10 or a 12 inch. In the bottom tier I had to do all ruffles, and I was making ruffles until the cows came home. I was like, oh, I don't ever want to see ruffles again. You know, but you do get into a rhythm. So, you know, if you were to get 10 orders for these particular types of Valentine's cupcake toppers, just start early, because all you have to do is put them in an airtight container once they're done, or even a box, and they're all set to go. So I've gone all the way around. I think I'm gonna, see I got a little extra on this side, so I'm gonna put another piece here, and then I want to put a little red in there. I think that'll look cool. So we'll do this one a little bit different. Hello, hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. I know I haven't been on in a while, guys. But things are slowing down a little bit here for us in South Carolina, and my husband got some really good news. He had to meet with the surgeon today. I'm not sure if everybody knows, but my husband has prostate cancer, and they were pretty much saying it was inoperable. And but he got some really good news today, so we're really, really happy. We're feeling very excited and blessed. So that got my mind clear for today, and I came out to work. So I'm just going to tuck this little guy in, and you literally just take the point of your tool and just move it around. You know, you don't want to be too hard on it because it'll tear or you'll disrupt your other ruffles. Just tuck that right in there. Just like that. Trying not to get my head in the camera so you can see. I mean, it looks like it would be a lot of work, but it's really not. Once you do a few, you're going to breeze through these like they're nothing. And this little trick here seems to be working really good. So, let me just roll him out a little bit longer. And I don't have any sugar or anything down. So far, I'm not sticking too much, so that's okay. So I'm just kind of holding it in my hand now and just, so you could do all different types of patterns. You could just do the squiggly. I keep going off camera, I'm so sorry. Or you could turn it, you know, and you could do different patterns. You could do a rose even right in the center. Something that looks like a rose. I'm going to put him just like this and see if I like it or not. And actually it's a little too tall, so I'm just going to pull it off, and I'm going to trim the bottom off. So I made this one just a little too tall. There we go. And then I'm going to unroll it because I squished it. Let me just unroll it real quick. Hopefully it'll come apart. I like the idea of a flower in the center, but it's just not matching the rest of it. So I think if I did one all rose, it would look really cool. So, but you know, there is no right or wrong way to do this. So I think I'm going to start up here in the corner. Get that to open up a little bit. It's a simple, very simple tutorial, but it's really kind of a neat little Valentine's cupcake topper, or even for cakes. So, you know, if you wanted to do a rose, of course, yes, I keep going off camera, you would just start and roll and do, you know, a rose. So, but I'm going to kind of keep going with the Chantilly look. You know I'm saying that wrong. Chantilly. Just little ruffles and squigglies. I'm just going to set it in there and then use my tool to move it around. I made these red ones just a tiny bit taller, just so it stands out a little bit more. Even though red stands out pretty well, but I'm just trying to get this tucked up in here, just like that. There we go. Well, just I think 2 more will do it. And then I'd love to pull out some of the gold and just real quickly do like the edges with a little bit of gold, just to see how it will look. And again, you guys can use modeling chocolate. You don't have to use fondant for this part if you didn't want to. You know, chocolate is for Valentine's Day, so you could make these all chocolate. But just make sure you charge your worth, guys. You're going to be spending some time on these. You know, you have to get yourself an hourly wage. Add that into your price. So, I notice a lot of people don't do that. I see, you know, people posting 2 or 3 tier cakes and they're like, oh, I just got an order for this and charged $100. How did I do? And I'm like, no, $100, are you insane? $100 won't even cover your materials. You won't get an hourly wage. And anyway, I'll babble about that. I just want people to be successful and be able to keep their businesses going, and you can't do that if you're not charging enough money to pay your bills. And that's all I'm going to say. Charge your worth, guys. I'm going to tuck one more in there. And see, because it's still soft, I'm able to move the white ones also. So it's really cool. Just tuck that right in there. Push it down. You could also do really small half circles and fold them in half, which is a little bit easy to do if you wanted to. So there we go. Isn't that cool? Look at how cute. So this is adorable. This one I want to try and do a little bit of gold embellishing on. Let me grab my my rope. If I can figure out where I put my rope. I cleaned my shop. Now I know where anything is. Let's see. That is sparkles. I am looking for gold. I put my rope. It's not over here. These are colors. Let's see, these are sparkles. Okay, Wendy, where'd you put your gold? Oh, here. Nope, that's cinnamon. I'm looking, guys. Hang on one sec. Whenever I clean my shop, I just never can figure out where I put anything. It's like it's so organized, and then I can't find anything. Cupcakes, fondant, molds, punch presses, marvelous molds. No gold in there. This one's chocolate, fondant. Where the heck is my gold? And I go through this every day trying to figure out where I move stuff to. I literally don't see it. lid with some gold on it. I'm still here. I haven't left. I'm just looking for my gold. Because I put it somewhere. And I didn't dig for it first because I wasn't thinking of doing it. Let's see where I put it. Well, I'll try maybe an airbrush or color or something because I don't know where I put my Rokum. I don't see it here anywhere. So I guess you could do yellow or red, or this one's a yellow sheen. This might look pretty cool. Kind of like a gold. It won't be as bold though because it's not the Rokum. I'm just going to wash out a brush real quick. I'm just going to put a couple drops down. Just right on whatever you're working on. And this is more of a yellow, obviously, than a gold. But I think you kind of get the idea. So you can just literally go and just gently go around the tips if you wanted to. If you have an airbrush, you could maybe just kind of very lightly go over it. I just wanted to try this to see what it looked like. Obviously, I would use my gold. I wouldn't use the yellow. But I'm going to do it on the red also. So I'm going to do the whole thing. Just because I want to see how awesome it looks. And this is the AmeriColor Sheen Yellow. Hello, hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the hearts and for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. It means a lot. It does. So, you know, this is, you could do this also with dusting. I don't know if it would be as pronounced if you dusted it because the dust would kind of, you know, fall in. But let's get over here and do some red and see how it looks. Oh yeah, that's cool. That looks really neat. You know, and you could even take some red airbrush and highlight one side too. So, I wish I knew where I put my Rokum. That bothered me a lot. Plus that stuff's expensive, you know? It's very expensive. So I had to have put it someplace safe. I'm just kind of, you know, lightly going over just to give it a little bit of a shimmer and shine. You could use silver too. Wherever my gold is, that's where my silver is. So, but this looks really cool. It's pretty. Kind of gives it a little bit of an extra element to it. And you know, I'm just kind of doing this lightly, but I think you guys get the idea. So this is something really cool that you guys could do. And let me pull this guy out. So he's all, he's set up probably pretty well now. So I'm just going to be very careful and pop this out just like that. And then now you can let it dry. So, and that's how cool it is. Let me put a little gold on this one. Well, we're just pretending it's gold. It's actually yellow. And if you have the little tiny ones, you guys could use the little tiny hearts too. You don't have to use the large ones like I did. But you know, it really would give you something a little bit different that not everybody's doing, that you could put on your menu and get some orders coming in for Valentine's Day. So most of us have fondant and a lot of us do cupcakes. And this would even go cool, guys, on cookies. So there we go. So we got two different patterns, but you guys could do any patterns you want, any colors. You could do black and white. You know, there's really no set color for Valentine's Day, you know. Of course, red, you could do it all red, but, you know, Valentine's Day, as long as it's a heart shape, it could be any color, right? So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, just give it a like and a share, and if I missed any of your comments, I will definitely go back. Hi, Mare. Mare, you could so do this. Hi, Mary Lee. How are you? Missed the beginning. Are you working with shortbread cookies? No, ma'am. I'm doing cupcake toppers. So we started with just fondant hearts, and I let them set overnight so they're nice and firm. And if you want, you can just browse up to the beginning of this tutorial and watch the whole thing. So it would look a lot more awesome, guys, if I had the gold, but I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I'll find it, and if I find it, I'll finish one of these off with gold and post it. So, but try this, guys, and you know, you can change the patterns up. You literally can do anything. You could do like the yin yang symbol. That would be cool, wouldn't it? So I hope you like this, and I'm gonna go. Have a great day, and if you wanted to look for these little tools that I'm using too, you can find them at wendycake.shop, or just hit the shop tab, guys, right here on my Facebook page. So we have lots of new products, and they're really good products, and check them out. And have a great day, and let's make something cool for our customers and the people we love. Okay, guys, any questions? I'm gonna go. Okay, talk to you later. Thanks for sharing, guys, and thanks for the hearts. Okay, bye-bye.